It's about time we learned what all these things are, right? In this lecture, we're just gonna do a basic overview of all the basic functions around FL Studio 12. Now, FL Studio 12 is an evolution over its older versions, such as FL Studio 11 and FL Studio 10, and it really expands upon things quite well. So I'll go over why it's awesome and what everything actually does. So this is where you just kind of lay down your tracks. You make a pattern over here, and then you throw it into this, and this is where you kind of paint your song. So it's a very visual audio mix, and I always thought that was really interesting. Like this little icon here is actually a paintbrush. So you are seriously just painting your pattern on. In fact, I can demonstrate it here even though there's no audio in pattern 1. You see that? It's painted on. And this is how you do everything here. You can also draw it on one at a time, however you like. Whichever arrangement, you can stretch and drag it, you see? So if you have notes that come up to here, or you want to cut off some notes and maybe make a new pattern, which is something you can do. Let's say you have a pattern that's this long, but you only want notes in the first quarter and then you want to repeat it. You can just drag it like that and then, repeat it. Just paint it on. You see that? As long as you click it, it paints it. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, yeah, I just didn't make it perfectly. Anyway, this here is the snap, and I should probably start out with this because snap applies to the piano roll, which I'll tell you about in a bit, and it applies to this. So I'll tell you what this is in a second. Actually, you can see right here, it's called the playlist. I was going to get to that. So this is snap. Maybe you can have an inference of what it is. You see there's a magnet, use main snap settings. Anytime you highlight something, you're going to have something up here that kind of tells you what it is. So if you're curious what any of these weird buttons are, some of these buttons I don't even really use. They're pretty much useless for most situations. But if you want to know what they are, we have this highlighted right now, but if you want to know what they are, just highlight your mouse over anything and it will give you a nice little description there. Some will still be obviously pretty confusing, but that's what I'm here for. Anything important that you need to know, I will go over. So this is snap. Oh snap. What this does is it stops you from misaligning all your audio. So this is each step. You see like this little section here, this little like 1/4 section of each other section. It's like a fractal. As you zoom out, you see the same thing, and you zoom in, same detail. Yeah. But anyway, this is snapping to step, and this is the step here. And then everything else is based on the step. So you have a half step, and you see that the lines double. There. Now you have a bit more accuracy. So then you can head up to 1/4 step and have even more accuracy. But we're going to want to zoom in for this one. If we go to no snap, which you're going to have to do sometimes for really tricky aligning. If we go to no snap, as you can see, we still have increments, which you can actually change in the settings, but I wouldn't recommend it. These are very, very small increments, right? So if you zoom in far enough, you can see them. And you're going to need this sometimes, but something that happens to every producer, and it's always frustrating, is you forget to turn snap back on. You want to, have step if you're doing basic arrangement, or else if you have, I'll demonstrate here. We zoom out. I want to line up this pattern here to this one. I want to line them up, and we're going to turn off snap. Let's see how well we can do it. And sort of, yeah, look at that. Look, it seems pretty good. But we're going to have to go into the microscope view here and see that no, it doesn't matter how good it looks. If you're out there and you have no snap, you're not lining it up. You see that? Like, I'm not even 100% sure if it's lined up. You still, look, you saw it that it seemed to be lined up, right? But now it's not. I think you can understand how frustrating that would be. But I hope I'm not confusing you here. Hopefully this all makes sense. This is just where you put different patterns. But I guess I should get into what a pattern is. A pattern is what you make here. So like this, for instance. Oh, this is the song pattern switcher here. I'll go over that in more detail later. But this is a pattern. Listen. You see that? You can... So you can just kind of put whatever there, right? And if you hold right click and drag, pow, you get rid of everything. And it's gone. You click stop. That is a pattern. So as you might have noticed, every time I click something here, the notes appear here, right? So we can play it here, or we can play it here, or we can play it on the playlist here. You see that? Obviously it's all screwed up because I just threw patterns everywhere, of course. But you get the gist of it, right? Click the little switch button. Boom, you're playing in the pattern. Hit the switch button. Boom, you're not playing in the pattern. So let's say we want to get rid of these. Remember, just hold right click and you can just erase everything. Hold it, run it over, bam, all gone. So let's say we want to have another pattern. You know, we want some hi-hats in a separate pattern for some reason. Usually you'd put them together, but what you do is you click this little plus up here. Ta-da! Pattern to name. We're gonna call it whatever, because whatever. Don't do this actually. If you are making a new pattern, try to be descriptive. I'm guilty sometimes of just, let me turn this off. I'm guilty sometimes of just kind of calling it pattern 2 or just giving it a random name. Just, you know, it's a lazy thing, but it hurts you more than helps you. But anyway, we have a new pattern here. If we go here, every time it's glowing orange, it plays just in the pattern. And let's see what it sounds like. It's pretty annoying in my opinion, because these are the stock sounds for FL Studio. Oof, stock sounds for FL Studio are really not very good. They don't sound very good. But anyway, we can actually paint these on now, you see? And if we play it together, click that, play it together. See, we got some sort of beat-ish. Maybe if we highlight all these, we can align it better. Let's check snap. Ooh, you see? I almost did it. So another thing you do, let me go over alignment. So you see this? I just moved this and it changed the character of the beat actually. And you can keep doing that. I can do this. Oh, darn. Never mind, I'll click away and then you can resize things. I think I'll demonstrate that. Again, here's me going the long-winded ways. Also, you can't select edges or anything when you're in the square selection tool. I'll shut that off. You can't select anything when you're, so you select things, but you can't resize them. You have to be here or here, you know, sort of interactive ones. But anyway, let me go over some alignment here. So we're gonna make this one shorter so it ends there, right? So like what I said earlier. And we're gonna select everything. Ta-da! We're gonna shove it up against there. Now what's gonna happen? You see the patterns are aligned differently all the way down. So it's different. This is what it used to be. Actually, a little bit different like that. You see? Is kind of the feeling. Now if we do this, right? That's the fundamentals of like rhythms. Where's the stress on the rhythm? And it's the kick drum that puts the stress on the rhythm in this case, because there's just hi-hats and kick. The kick's the more powerful of the two, so it dictates where the stress of the notes are. So these are what I consider the absolute basics of FL Studio. And you can go on FL Studio right now, hopefully you're already there, and you can make a beat like this, or you can make it all in here. And I don't know what sort of crazy beats you want to make. You want to you can just kind of throw something together. Boom, and now when we play this, I don't even know what's gonna happen, right? Let's offset it. There we go, we offset it even more. So, that doesn't matter. It's offset even more, so now these kick drums are going to do something weird to this drum beat here, which is always fun to do. Arguably, that doesn't sound too good. In fact, it can get worse. Ah, it's not too bad, is it? Still bad. Partly because the FL Studio basic kick sucks. But hopefully you kind of get the gist in this alignment thing. It's actually quite important in making music in FL Studio. Just you can make an entirely different pattern with different stresses just by moving around one track relative to the other. In fact, you can have full loops, which I will get into. Actually, I'll say it now. A loop is a recording in 4 bars or whatever amount of bars in a certain tempo. Which this is the tempo, as you would know. Oops, we have like a micro stepper for the tempo here that if you drag on that, you gotta set it back to 0. But yeah, a loop is a recording that's set to a tempo, and it plays maybe a synth pattern over and over again, or drum pattern or something. You can actually offset 2 loops if they're 2 drum kits, and you can make an entirely new beat. And that is something that producers very, very, very often do. Quite a high level trick, but very, very easy to execute, as you can see. Different character. You could always just, add notes here. But the thing about arrangement, alignment, is it surprises you sometimes with some really, really nice beats. You know what I mean? And that was the very, very basics of FL Studio interface. It is the step sequencer and the playlist, both of which can be found here. That's the mixer. That is channel rack. That is playlist. You got browser, project, opener, just different little shortcuts here. Sometimes I just go through the menus. But sometimes it's way easier just to click this. For instance, this is playlist. If you click it again, playlist disappears. Dun dun dun. Click that. And they call this a channel rack. It was really called the step sequencer in the past. So let me be clear on this. This is step sequencer / channel rack. It's called a channel rack because these are all channels. But again, that's for another video. Click that, open it, close it, and that is the fabled piano roll that I'll get into in the next lecture. Thank you very much for coming along on this journey with me, and I hope it was enjoyable for you. I implore you right now to go and make some beats. Just mess around with FL Studio, see what you can figure out on your own. That is always the best way to learn. Well, to learn the nitty-gritty anyway, to get a feel for things. So, yeah. See you in the next lecture.